Hi! So I just put out an album. It has been 2 long years, but I'm so excited to finally have this content to be giving you. As you can see, it is called Growing Up, and it's about exactly what you think it's about. Growing up has been a very interesting thing for me. I haven't necessarily had it super hard, however, it has been an up and down roller coaster ride. It's been fantastic writing material. And yeah, so basically I'm just gonna go through each song and talk about what each one is about. And we will start with track number 1, Good Fun. So Good Fun really was like a million songs before it actually became Good Fun. I'd written a bunch of, like, not bad, but like predictable pop records. I think I was very much focusing on trying to make a banger because I knew that I wanted the first track to be a party song. However, none of them felt like I was really connecting to them. It wasn't until I wrote Good Fun that I felt like I'd written something honest. Because Good Fun I wrote about my first party experience as opposed to just like party experiences. And yeah, in high school I really wasn't a partier. My friends and I were more so the straight edge gang. It wasn't until college that everything changed. But you know, it took some time for me to get comfortable being a partier. My first party I felt scared and self-conscious, just incredibly insecure because I didn't quite know what I was doing, and the environment was really intense. But yeah, the lyrics of the chorus just kind of tell it all. And I have been having fun ever since. Making the song was super fun. The production came together super quick. We pretty much finished the whole song in one session. It's just, you know, it's just fun pop music. It's just a fun pop record, and I love making it, and I hope that you love listening to it. Track number 2, Responsible. So Responsible actually also was a couple of songs before it became what it is now. I'd originally written a more serious version of it called Responsibilities, and it was just super dark and me feeling super angry about how irresponsible I had been at that point in time. Then I wrote a more fun, like, up-tempo version of it, also called Responsibilities, but again, neither of them quite felt right. And then one morning I was surfing the web and I decided to kind of creep on this producer that my younger brother knows named Nicholas Allen. And I wasn't particularly looking at his work in the hopes of working with him. I just was kind of curious and checked out what he had going on. And he had this beat on his website that nobody had been using. It was just this super simple guitar riff with a very simple drum pattern. And I thought to myself, I could do something with this. And so I emailed him and asked him if I could buy it, and I bought it, which I never do. I like to make all my songs from scratch. But I was super into the whole vibe and liked how I could potentially write a song with serious lyrics over a very chill, lax, happy beat. So I bought the beat, I brought it to the studio, and we remixed the shit out of it. The original version and what it is now are not terribly different, but are also vastly different. And yeah, I wrote the song for it in about 30 minutes, and I wrote that spoken word part on a separate day in about 30 minutes, and yeah, I think it came out great. Track number 3, Layers. So Layers came about from a conversation that I had with a friend of mine, where basically they had told me that they felt like I knew a lot about them, but they didn't feel like they knew much of anything about me. And it really wasn't until they had said that I had realized how much I can sometimes shelter myself from other people. I very much put a lot of my life out into the world, but I also very much edit how much the world gets to see of me. And I think it's for the most part unintentional, but I don't know, I'm an extrovert at my core, but I'm also a very introverted extrovert, and I do like to keep some things about myself to myself. So I use that conversation as just a way of allowing people to get to know me in a super, quirky and whimsical way. The lyrics start off super simple and get progressively darker and darker, and yeah, making the song was a lot of fun. Making it in the studio was also super easy. We just didn't really have much of a vision for what we wanted it to sound like, and my producer Dave just kind of whipped up this like super fun tropical pop beat, and yeah, the rest is history. Track number 4, Love Letter to Old Friends. So this song is incredibly special to me. For a long time, I had really struggled with worrying that people who weren't as close to me as they used to be thought that I didn't care about them anymore. And I just wanted to make something to let them know that they still mean the world to me no matter how little I see them. You know, people drift, and that sometimes can really suck. But just because somebody is no longer in your life doesn't mean that what they did for you and your life are any less significant. So yeah, I didn't quite know how to go about doing it, but I ended up deciding that the best way to go about it was to just make something super quick to get the point across and to not drown this whole message in heavy production and all that stuff. So I sat down in my room and wrote the song and pulled out my ukulele and recorded it in a voice memo. And that's what I wanted to use for the final product, because a voice memo would make it sound super personal and like something that I could send to them via text message. And yeah, I'm super happy with the way that it came out. And to anybody who hears this who maybe thinks that the song is about them, it could be. And I hope you identify with it, and I just want you to know that I love you. I always will. Track number 5, Show You. So this song is my fucking baby. This is the oldest song on the record. I actually wrote this song like around the same time that I wrote Now and Then, which was the first song that I ever put out under the old stage name Damani. I knew that it was something special when I wrote it. I just didn't quite know when would be the most appropriate time to use it. I couldn't really find a use for it, but I knew that there was something special about it. And when I had come up with the concept for the album, I knew that I wanted to have a love song about my experience with falling in love for the first time. And this song had kind of like fallen back into my lap. Yeah, this song is just about like falling in love with someone and not feeling like there's any adequate way to explain that love in words. And so you just want to be able to express that love with your body, to use physical connection and intimacy to show them just how much you care. It's a sexy little song. It's but you know, it's also really beautiful. This was actually the toughest one to make on the record because we just could not find the right formula with the way to make it sound. And there were so many frustrating nights at the studio where I was just like feeling upset that we weren't creating what I wanted the song to be. And then at the very last session for the album, at 1 o'clock in the morning, Dan, one of my producers, came up with this idea of messing with the EQ in the drop, and I just remember hearing what he did with it and saying, oh shit. It was so sick, and it was like exactly what the song needed because it built this like sexual tension that I think the song was lacking, and it just like really drove the whole thing home, and I'm just so happy with it. I love that song so much, and I hope that you do too. Track number 6, Good Enough. So Good Enough was a song that was very painful to make. It was a really difficult song to write. It was a difficult song to produce, and it was a difficult song to know would be out in the world for people to hear. Heartbreak is tough, and it's something that I still don't quite know how to cope with. And this song is just about me feeling like everything was my fault. And I felt like it was my fault because of the person that I am. I felt like I, myself, was not enough for the other person. And that's why they left me. And you just kind of have to realize that, you know, it has nothing to do with you being enough or not. If you are a type of person that the other person just cannot rock with, then that's not your fault, even though it might become your problem. And it's a tough pill to swallow. Like, you know, a saying that I live by a lot these days is, if they wanted to, they would. And if that person had wanted to stay with me, then they would. And it's just as simple as that. And it has nothing to do with me being good enough. It just didn't work out. And it hurts, but it is what it is. Track number 7, Me. So Me was a song that I wrote purely just because I didn't want Good Enough to go straight into Time and have 2 super heavy songs back to back. I wanted to have a song that would be a little bit more uplifting after the darkness of Good Enough. It felt like writing a bop, and so I did. I'd always wanted to write a song using that vocal warm-up, the me. I had always found it funny that this, that warm-up was a word that I could use in a song, and so when I was able to do that, I was like super stoked. I knew I wanted a rap feature on it. There were a few people that I had considered, but when it came down to it, Street Queer was just like the only option. When he sent me his verse, I lost my fucking mind. It was so good. Like, his skill level is just like out of this world, and I'm so proud of what we did together. The song is so much fun, and I hope that you all blare it in your cars this summer because it is just the only summer tune. Track number 8, Time. So Time, I wrote after leaving a college party. I had gone to visit some friends after I had left school. It had been a while since I had seen them, and I just remember being at this party and being shocked to see that things were not the same as when I had left. Surprise, surprise. I don't know. It was a weird thing. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It was strange to realize in that moment that I was getting older and my friends were too. And it was really scary. I had become kind of a wallflower at this party, which I wasn't really used to being. I just remember waking up the next morning, packing up my shit, walking to my car, and immediately writing this song. Realizing your mortality is weird. Sometimes when you're young, it's easy to think that you're invincible and that you're just going to be young forever, but it's just not the case. And, I wrote this song in an absolute panic. I think it came out beautifully, and I think the production came out super sick with, having the tempo slow down and pick back up, and I think it really just encapsulated all the emotions that I felt when I had written it. And yeah, I just think it was like the perfect closing song. Track number 9, These Days. So These Days I had written because I knew I wanted to have an outro to the record. I wanted Time to be the closer, but I wanted to have something to really drive the whole record home. Because, as scary as growing up is, it's true, I would not trade these days for anything. I love being young, and I'm going to cherish these days for as long as I possibly can. And when I do get older, I'm very happy to say that when I look back at what I did with my life when I was younger, I'm going to be proud of myself and be happy with the memories that I made. And, that's all that really matters to me in the end. I'm just so happy with the way that These Days turned out and the way which it really closed out the story. And so yeah, that is the record. I've been receiving such incredible responses to it so far. I'm so happy that so many of you love it and identify with it. Keep streaming it, keep buying it, keep showing your friends. I have a lot of cool things in the works right now, and I'm just so stoked for you guys to see how everything is going to continue to unfold with this project. Keep tabs with me. Follow me on social media at Yavin_music, Instagram and Twitter. Yavin Music on Facebook, you can like the page. Follow me on Spotify, follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me on YouTube, whatever the fuck it is. I'm so glad that you love the record, and if you haven't heard it yet, check it out. I've got links in the description. Have an amazing day. Don't be afraid of growing up. It's not that scary.